So, I am currently an avid RLC player. I specifically play on private servers, the places you find mods. And I've got two private servers for you that you must avoid if you want to have a fun, sophisticated, and fair time in them. Once I've told you them, I'll give you a private server that's an actually good server that you should play in. If at any point the server betrays me, I will cut it out of the video. So if you don't see that part of the video, you know why. I'll put the server in the description and the reason not to play it if that happens. Number 1. Texas State Roleplay. The owner of the server is WowThwiz, and the Discord invite code is TexOR. I called a mod one time to report someone who had safe zone RDM'd me 4 times. Safe zone RDMing is when someone kills a person without a reason in one of the designated safe zones in the game. In this case, the civilians spawn in River City. I documented part of the incident in a video showcasing my moderator calls. The situation was being handled by a moderator at the River City gas station. Since I was no longer directly involved, my report had been submitted and the moderator was handling it. I respond to continue role-playing as usual. However, this decision was later cited as one of the reasons I was banned from the server. The ban reasons given were an SFW and RTAP, resetting to avoid punishment. Here's my explanation for both. There's a common online action called robanging. While it's typically misused, I sometimes use the animation as a nonverbal indicator. For example, to point something out or direct someone's attention. In this situation, someone asked me who had RDM'd me, and I used the action to point in the offender's direction. It was done in front of the player, and I was facing towards player, not suggestively, and definitely not in an NSFW context. So, it was just a misunderstanding, and I could just explain what happened, right? Well, I did that, and they completely didn't care. They ignored me and failed to read my ban appeal. They refused to let me explain myself and decided to ban me before I could. And as for the RTAP, after the initial report, the moderators told me I was no longer involved in the situation, so I respond to continue playing. Later, they brought me back and accused me of RTAP, claiming I reset to avoid punishment. This was completely untrue for 2 key reasons. First of all, I was explicitly told I was no longer involved and was free to go. I had provided them with a clip of me being RDM'd, and the person was being dealt with. Second of all, I wasn't the one who was being punished. I was the caller. I was the one who provided the clip. The person who RDM'd me was the one being punished. I wasn't avoiding punishment. There was no punishment for me to get because I did nothing wrong. And despite all of this, they banned me. And not only did they carelessly ban me, but remember the guy who RDM'd me. What makes this worse is that the player who RDM'd me 4 times in a safe zone received no punishment at all. The server uses a 3 warnings equals kick system. By that logic, he should have been kicked or even banned, yet he went off without a single warning. So to summarize, I respond after being told I could. I used an animation as an indicator, not in an NSFW manner. I was not the one being punished, yet got accused of RTAP. My ban appeal was ignored. The actual rule breaker faced no consequences. So unless you want to RDM people without punishment, do not join this server. If you're thinking of joining this server regardless, be aware. The rules may not be applied fairly, and legitimate reports might get you punished instead of protected. Number 2. Las Vegas Roleplay. The owner of the server is Jacob26213, and the Discord invite code is VegasRP. I submitted a staff application to Las Vegas Roleplay and was accepted the following day. I went through the training process one-on-one with the trainer, passed successfully, and was promoted to trial moderator. From that point forward, I was fully committed to supporting the server, actively handling moderation calls, assisting players, and asking appropriate questions whenever clarification was needed. Everything was going smoothly. That changed recently. One day, I made a light-hearted joke in the staff chat directed toward a high-ranking member. While the intention behind the message was harmless, it was unfortunately interpreted as inappropriate and offensive. Around that time, I was added to a staff office channel created via TicketTool, but I wasn't aware of it. I didn't see the channel in my list at first, so I didn't realize I had been summoned. Later, While talking in the same staff chat, a high rank responded to me with a link that showed no access. I jokingly replied with no access jump scare and later stopped with the no access. This was meant as harmless humor, nothing malicious or disrespectful. However, the tone in the chat shifted and the high rank became serious, making comments such as not a damn joke and referring to me directly by name. I refreshed my Discord page and the link finally worked. It led to the office channel I hadn't seen earlier. Inside, I was asked to explain what I said in staff chat and why. I responded honestly with, I honestly don't know, and I've seen other people say it without consequences, even to staff directly. I wasn't being evasive. I was just unsure why the joke was considered so severe when I had seen similar things said before without action taken. I answered truthfully and respectfully, expecting a conversation or further questioning. However, none came. The next day, I received a message stating, "Alright, you were terminated and blacklisted for your actions." Attached was a document outlining the reasons. It claimed I lied about not being able to see the office channel, attempted to divert attention from the main issue, and did not take the conversation seriously. These claims are simply not true. I genuinely couldn't see the channel until I refreshed. I addressed the situation directly, as asked. I did not divert, disrespect, or ignore the office chat. I complied fully with the request for an explanation. At no point was I disrespectful or dishonest. Yet the decision had already been made, without further questioning or effort to clarify the situation. So, because of this, I had to continue talking in the office about these things. I was terminated and blacklisted for false reasons/lies. I explained myself like they asked me to. They didn't let me explain myself further, and they didn't ask any more questions before randomly deciding on a termination. What's most frustrating is the inconsistent enforcement of professionalism. I've witnessed high-ranking staff members behave in clearly unprofessional ways. When this kind of behavior is reported, nothing happens. I've seen a screenshot of a high rank telling a person in a mod call to shut up and cry about it, referring to the fact that the caller was complaining about how you needed to always provide a clip in mod scenes. That's not polite or professional, that's just plain rude. The person who posted the screenshot said that they had talked to high ranks, but nothing was done about it. They let the high rank go. Meanwhile, a trial moderator makes a misinterpreted joke without malicious intent and is terminated and blacklisted without discussion. That's not equal enforcement of rules. That's favoritism and abuse of authority. And to summarize, I determined that they were abusing power and favoritizing. Which they were. What they were doing fit the very definition of abusing power and favoritizing. Unfortunately, the conversation went nowhere. Feeling that I wasn't being given a fair chance, I closed the ticket. Shortly afterward, I was banned from the server. The stated reasons were accusing staff of favoritism, being disrespectful, and stating false information about the blacklist. To be clear, I did not accuse, I pointed out behavior that objectively looked like favoritism. I didn't have the intent to be disrespectful, I was only being fair. I did not state false information, I only shared what I had seen. So in summary, I was terminated and blacklisted over a misunderstood joke after cooperating and trying to explain myself. Meanwhile, high-ranking staff members who've been blatantly unprofessional, even disrespectful to players, face no consequences. If you're looking to join a server where high ranks can get away with whatever they want while lower staff get punished for minor infractions or misunderstandings, then Las Vegas Roleplay is the perfect place for you. Now, if you need a good server that you could see me in, try Tennessee State Roleplay by Totally Not JJ28. The Discord invite code is TSRP1. So far, I've had good experiences on this server, and the people in it are fair and understanding most of the time. If you prefer a VC-only experience that I may not be found in but I've still contributed to, try Fort Worth, Texas Roleplay by DPW Football. The Discord invite code is FWTXRP. Once again, if this part of the video is deleted, it means that I no longer respect Tennessee State Roleplay. The explanation for why will be explained in the description if you'd like to check back every now and then. But at the moment, it's a great server. So please, if you're watching, avoid the aforementioned servers. Thanks for watching.